All right, welcome back everybody. So as you recall, in the previous lesson, we discussed and reviewed how to create formulas using the sum function and also the average function. And so now we're going to continue to build upon that by moving on to subtraction. So in this lesson, we'll be using the Shell's Bakery template that we used in an earlier lesson, but what you'll notice is that I've added two columns, columns J and column K. So column J has all of the beginning inventory data, and I just use the same number for each category. So what this is saying is that at the beginning of the week, we started with 200 blueberry muffins, 200 donuts, apple pie, etc. And column K is the closing inventory. This is where we'll be building our formula. We want to determine at the end of the week how much do we have left of each item. So we started with 200 and we sold all of these, so how many are remaining? So there are a couple of ways that you can figure that out. The first thing I want to do is navigate to cell K13, so everybody can go ahead and navigate there now. So once you're in cell K13, we're going to start to build our formula. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to type the equal sign. This is just like we did in the previous lesson. All of our formulas start with an open parentheses, equals, open parentheses. And so now we're going to tell Excel that we want to move to the beginning inventory, which is in cell J13. So J13 minus C13 minus G13 minus E13 minus F13 minus G13 minus H13. And remember that all of our formulas, once we are finished typing in our cell references, we close them out by using a closing parentheses or bracket and hit enter. So our closing inventory is 47. So we started the week out with 200, we sold 153, and we have 47 remaining. So I just showed you one way to do that, and now I'm going to show you an easier way to do that. So navigate to cell K14, and we're already there. So again, you start all of your formulas with the equal sign, and then you want to use an opening bracket. And so now we're going to move to the beginning inventory, which is in cell J14, and we're going to subtract minus the total. Okay, and so we want to close that off with the closing bracket and hit enter. Okay, so we see that we have 16 donuts remaining at the end of the week. One thing that I want you to keep in mind is that if you make a mistake with the formula, let's say for instance, let's say equals the sum of 200, let's say the beginning inventory, and let's say that instead of hitting the total minus the total, you accidentally selected Saturday and hit enter. And you look at it and you say, well, that can't be right because I have 183 remaining, but I sold all of these. So that tells you that you did something wrong. All you have to do is go up to the ribbon, and remember in module 1 we talked about undo. Just go ahead and select undo, and that gets you back to the very beginning. I just wanted to mention that because there will be times when you'll make a mistake, so don't freak out. Just go up to the ribbon and click undo, and you'll be right back to where you started. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that again. We're going to try the shortcut way for the apple pie. So the first thing we want to do is hit equals, and then we want to type in open parentheses, and we want to select the beginning inventories for the apple pie, which is J15, minus the total for the week, which is I15. And then we want to type in a closing bracket or parentheses and hit enter. Okay, so this says you have 106 remaining. Okay, so what you want to do next is, remember we talked about the shortcut? So you don't have to go and type that formula in for every single category. What you can do is, while you're in cell K15, what you can do is drag this all the way down to K20. And there you have it. Your remaining balances, or your closing inventory for each of the categories, has now been populated for you. So it's very easy and simple to do. One other thing that I wanted to point out before we wrap this up is, if, let's say, your beginning inventory, you realize that, oh, I had 200 for the blueberry muffins, but for the donuts I only had 150. What you'll notice is that your formula changes. And what Excel is saying to you here, there's a negative number. That probably wasn't a good example. It's saying that you sold more than you had. So that's probably not a good example. So I'm going to go ahead and hit undo. Let's go ahead and change that to, our beginning inventory was 250. Okay, so what you'll notice is, if we said we started with 250, Excel automatically updates our closing inventory for us. And likewise, if we said, okay, for the raspberry tarts, I didn't start the week with 200, I actually started with 375. Excel is automatically going to update our closing inventory for us. So that's a neat little function to be aware of. And that's it, guys. You have now mastered subtraction in Excel. So we're going to keep it moving so that we can just start to continue to build upon what we've learned. So I'll see you over in the next lesson.